aka ajiye a menene ake yin shi nake jin guest house taroni wajen Bank of the North guest house aka ajiye I think shekarau shi ne wani lokacin ina neman tarihin Malam Aminu Kano to ga an kuri a takaici sai da ne shekara 3 ina zuwa Nigeria su 6 zuwa ɗauki tarihin Malam Aminu Kano ne interview da late Abubakar Rimi ne da su late mai tamasili ne da kowa na koma America na je Virginia na interview da Professor John Hayden shi ya rubuta tarihin Sardauna domin ya gaya man yaya tarihin Malam Aminu Kano na zo nan na samu marigayi kan Malam Aminu Kano shi ma na yi mara interview because ina karanta film lokacin a makaranta that was my student project and sai na film 90 minutes feature length movie documentary babu kamar wannan documentary dai akan Malam Aminu Kano babu wanda ya 2008 sai na turo film din nan Nigeria na turawa Zuma Film Festival. It got the overall winning entry biographical documentary. The point that I so in emphasizing is dukkanmu masu films ko da wasan kwaikwayo ne narrative ko wasanni irin su da su karambana masu Kasimir da makamanci ko kun san cewa wasu ba su san Sadiq Tafawa Balewa ba Sadiq Tafawa Balewa dan abokan Tafawa Balewa ne babban mutum ne yana lecturing a I think ABU Zaria babban mutum ne babban yayin mu ne ya wuce 60 ko makamanci amma shi ma film ya karanta a London lokacin da yake project nashi nake jin ko 1978 ne ko makamanci ya wani film a London ana kiran film ɗin wai ƙasar mu ce mutane suna film amma ba su san tarihin creativity ba a arewa mutane suna waka amma ba su koma tushen wake ba na Abubakar Ladan you know na da degree a theater ina da degree a film ina da degree a strategic studies ina da a lot of degrees in fact sa'idin da nake lokacin nake University of Jos ina president na theater arts a lokacin University of Jos tana da hadda diploma in theater arts so nake jin a wannan dai lokacin nace ko ni kadai ne ko mun bi ne kadai musulmai ma a faculty din kuma wannan faculty din theater arts din was the largest faculty of theater arts in the whole of West Africa a lokacin da nake because of course mutanen mu suna cewa ai theater arts ne kar yan su ji suka ranta a za su zama yin za su suna rawa za su canza bebe a hotel za su yi da makamanci so ina kallon yaran nan suna rawa sai na tuna da abin da Wale Soyinka ya ce yadda za ka ɗau technology ka haɗa da stagecraft what happens on Broadway that is the intermutual connection between performance and technology you see damuwa is the fact that there's been a subliminal masking there's been what you call a corrosion of cultural memory. But enough for us to tell who we are. And that's the beginning of storytelling. You cannot tell the story of Ariwa. But you can't tell the story of Ariwa. What we see in our Ariwa channels, in our I mean, all of us have been on all the other sides. Now composing music, now acting 4 movies in the United States of America, including a sci-fi movie. So when you're on every side, you come back to what is most important. And what is important is originality. In fact, at a point in time, when I was in Ohio University, I made it a point of duty in some form because Ohio University in Athens, about 90% Turawan. so in kana wucewa sai ka ji ana kallon kana ga baki na yadda muke ganin turawa na mace ga bature sai in dinga jin kamar kunnuwa na wannan. So the point I'm trying to say is da na dawo na koma sai na ce abin da zai faru shine ba zan dinga saka jeans ko t-shirt ba zan yi magana a turai. I will dress like an African, I will dress kamar Bafulatanin da nake, I will dress kamar ni dan Arewa. Say in delivering my seminar to Turawa, wanda yake so ya ci, wanda zai blushing cewa wannan bakin mutumin ya san who he is, but basically I do that. So I think the point of origination and sakon da yasa na tukuna is to tell you for the Northern, the Arewa Creators Conference, that we should look towards originality. I think this is a very laudable initiative. We should go into the origination of stories. A lot is actually happening in the country right now. But for us to project northern Nigeria, the northern region, we have to look at some of the peculiarities that define us. Nigeria, on the one hand, is looked at as the most populous country in the whole of Africa. But then, what of northern Nigeria? Muna da almajiranci. An ce muna auren mata da we can't even get up. An ce muna barin yaranmu a titi. I mean, it could be debatable. These are stark realities we have to say to ourselves. Because ko musulunci bai ce ka auri mata ba mun baraka if you can't cater for to take care of her. Ko kuma ka je ka wurga ɗanka yana wani garin kai kana sabbato shi yana wani gari a can yana bara. Without tenderness, without care, without concern, without nurturing. Nobody has done that. So for us to tell the story of the North, and for us to actually change the narrative of who we are as Northerners, we need to understand who we are. It's a vast, region. Land mass, agriculture, solid minerals, abundant talent, young people who are restless and vibrant and energetic and full of ideas and very talented. We need to look at our culture. We need to understand who we are, and that would be the starting point. And as where governments are concerned, I thought I was going to see my sister, the Honorable Minister, Hanat Musawa here. But I know that the economy, the Ministry now of Creative Economy has initiatives that says, okay, they would generate 2 million jobs in the entertainment industry. How much of that actually trickles to filmmakers in Kano? Do you people have access to some of these loans that are given when you go to collect them from the film fund? If you don't, what are the things that actually inhibit your chances to get these loans? Then we also need scholarship. We need to learn. Every day you have to learn and relearn. I've seen young cameramen using gimbal and so on. From the aesthetics of lighting, to acting, to the beauty of your culture, we have to be able to learn so much about who we are so that we can tell our story at par with global standards. Because if you go, even if you're watching the Premier League, the way they edit their movies, you would know that the competition is actually global, even if you're thinking, even if you're acting locally. So, it's my sincere hope that this very timely, very relevant conference, which is connecting talents, with opportunities, gives all of us a very great reason to really reflect. I would give my long paper to the organizers. You can actually share. I didn't speak to the paper at all. I just spoke from the top of my head. I would like for us, I love being Northern. I truly do. We're not Indians. And even when we do the music, don't forget the continuity in the music. And when you do the embroidery, don't get caught between who you are and who you're not. The hybrid that is actually in between. Look for originality, look for intellectual resonance, and look for substance and professionalism. and put out your best. Hollywood is doing all the metaverse of Captain America and what they do in Walt Disney and the Avengers and so on and so forth. You can actually create whatever you want to create within, the nuance of our own culture if we actually know who we are. So I challenge all of us to kindly please go back home, listen to our grandmothers and find out who we really are so that we can tell the true story of modern Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Wow, wannan tafi bai burge ni ba, a tafa mishi please. That was very enlightening, insightful, and mind-blowing, mashallah. Thank you so much, sir. We're so grateful to have you here today. The next speaker I am going to invite, well, let me tell you a little story. I have always been a public speaker, but this next speaker awakened MC Sophie. I listened to him for just a couple of hours and my entire life changed. I'm sure if you listen to him for a couple of minutes, just a couple of minutes, your life will be transformed. Join me as I welcome an award-winning filmmaker, pastor, and public speaker, Prince Daniel Aboki. Put your hands together, please.
All right, thank you very much. I didn't want to speak after Yakubu Lamai, and for obvious reasons, because I was listening to him when he was with Peace FM in Jos, and then he eventually came into Cool FM. They were the ones who set Cool FM to what it is today, and today I'm sure he'll be proud to know that I'm the group programs director in charge of Cool FM, Wazobia FM, Nigeria Info, Peace FM, and Ariwa Radio in Kano, which I founded. And I'm not talking about Kano, I'm talking about the whole Nigeria. I'm controlling 16 radio stations. I'm opening Wazobia FM in Benin, and I have 29 managers reporting to me. And that's not the story. The story is that I have been in Kano for 13 years, but I'm from Gombe by birth, by extraction, and I was born in Kaduna. I grew up between Katsina and Lagos and here. Well, secondly, there are 3 Nigerians ever to have made it to the Oscars. The Oscars is the World Cup for filmmakers. And the Oscars for 2025 was the 97th Oscars. And my film, which was made in Hausa language, May Martaba, was Nigeria's official entry to the Oscars this year. You can clap. But that's not the story again. The story is that the whole idea is to change the narrative of how Hausa films or language films are made. So we did Memataba, and Memataba made it to the Oscars by God's grace, and then we did Kaka. As of today, Kaka has received 41 awards and nominations across 7 countries. In 2025, Kaka, which is also another film in Hausa language that we shot here in Kano, was Best Nollywood Film in the UK, Best Nollywood Film in the US, Best Nollywood Film in Canada. And we just came back last week from a Europe tour with 2 Hausa films, Memataba and Kaka. I'll tell you why I'm giving you the background of the story. The background is that I'm supposed to talk about telling stories to a global audience. And I chose Hausa language. I'm leveraging Hausa language because the future of African cinema is actually indigenous language or indigenous languages. So we also have these films being studied in about 3 universities in Europe, 2 in the UK, and it's also being studied, of course, in the Department of Theatre and Performing Arts in BUK here, where I am. I teach from time to time, pro bono, for free, so that I can impart knowledge to the younger generation. So, to me, that is the idea of telling stories for a global audience, because all I needed to tell a compelling story is to come back to the root. And what is the root? In the context of the Martaba, it is the northern story. It is the Arewa story. It is the story of the Daura, it is the story of Daurama. It is the story of the North in its regalia, in its culture. It is the story that is told 100% in Hausa language. But what did we do differently? We scaled up our production value, both in terms of storytelling and equipment. Because as at the time we did Memataba, we mastered the audio at 5.1 Studio Dolby. And 5.1 was the global standard. And the idea is that the language might be Hausa, it could be Northern, but the dynamics and the technicalities of storytelling is global. So we have to use the white mass technology to tell our story. And our story is the Northern story. It's the story that we understand. It's the story that we appreciate. It is the story that we would tell without blinking an eye. And that was what we did with Memataba. And that is the same thing we did with Kaka. And I'm at post-production of my third film, Akwati. And of course, Professor Zainab Alkali gave me the right to her book, The Stillborn. We're adapting it into a film. And not only that, we're doing a Kannywood collaboration with China. We're doing a Kannywood collaboration with Qatar. We're doing a Kannywood collaboration with India. And next week we're signing an MOU for a co-production with Kenya. And it's Hausa language that I want you to tell my story. Because I understand the North. Because I'm a Northerner. Because I want to create jobs in the North for the younger generation, and we want to leave the legacy, just as Yakubu Lamai said. So I'll wrap up this week. Now, I was privileged to be in the committee set up by the federal government post-COVID to assess the impact of COVID-19 on the creative industry, and we found something very interesting. What did we find? We found out that the creative industry, IT and broadcasting, contributed more to Nigeria's GDP in the year under review than oil and gas and mining combined. Where the creative industry, IT and broadcasting did 12.3%, oil and gas and mining combined did only 8.7%. As big as insurance and finance and insurance did just 3%. As big as real estate did just 6.4%. And of course, services and others give 33.3%. So it means the creative industry is only second in value chain and ecosystem, is only second to agriculture. Now, I'll give you an example again, that where is China when it comes to the creative exports from creative goods and services? China controls 35% of global import from creative goods and services. What are these creative goods and services? Crafts, Mandarin language, arts, ceramics, and all the other things that we have abundantly in Kano, and much more in the north. What was the figures? The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, did a survey in the Creative Economic Outlook for 2024, reviewing 2022. What did they find? They found out that export from creative goods in the year under review 2022 was about $713 billion US. And then the one on exports from creative services, which includes film, music, and all the other forms of services to the creative industry, they found out that it grew globally to almost 1.4 billion. But that's not where the story is. Where the story is that China controls 35% of the global exports in both creative goods and creative services. And what is the figure? $249.9 billion. What does China have that we do not have here in Kano? What does China have that we don't have here in Nigeria? That takes me to my recommendation. What are my recommendations? One, there is a need for a strategic repositioning of the creative industry in the north. When you talk about the creative economy in the north, the first thing that comes to our mind is that's how they see us. But it is a big value chain. And the government will take advantage of it. The creative industry, the creative economy, which the Honorable Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism and the Creative Economy, Anatu Musawa, said she's projecting 2030, she's projecting $100 billion. Any self-sustaining economy that will do that huge number can't be neglected. So I'll wrap up with this idea. The idea is that there's something that got me so upset about a year ago. When Netflix came into Nigeria, Netflix report, the first report, was pitching 2026, 2016 to 2026. Netflix spent between Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa between 2016 to 2022 was $175 million. That's not the story. The story was that out of it, $32 million was spent in Nigeria. $32 million in Naira is over 40 billion. How much of the $32 million was spent in the North? Not a dime. All the $32 million was spent in the industry in Lagos, with things like Anikulapo, with things like Lishabi, and all the other things in Lagos. Why? Are we saying there's no democratization of content? No. It is that our industry is not positioned. Our industry is not visible. And the creative industry, the creative economy is not about democracy. It is about content positioning and content repositioning. They can't see us. We have the art. As you said, we have the tie and die. They can't see us. Now our person is at the helm of the national troupe, where by the way I started my acting in Lagos, from the national troupe to Tales by Moonlight to MTA, to AIT Country People, and to Tinsel when I left Tinsel as an actor in 2020. Is that we are not positioned, we are not visible, and we don't see it as a source of income. We don't see it as a source to bring in the stream of younger generation that we have. We just see it as nothing. But the people outside the North see it as everything. So, my challenge is that there will be need for government and individuals to create creative hubs, small creative hubs in different ways, where people that want to do film can access small equipment. Government should give grants and not loans, because the loans have huge interest. When you are giving somebody who wants to start a loan of double digits of 12%, how when they don't even have the collateral, how will they do it? So we create small box, then we also give grants and not loans. What are these grants? What stops national state government, where my Oga Yakubu Labai is from, what stops them from doing a photography contest and say, take the pictures of everything that the governor is doing? We are going to give 1 million as the prize. We are going to get Canon to give us cameras. What stops Kano state government from doing? What stops the state government from doing? So that young people who are already creating a source of livelihood for themselves will have employment to do. With this few points of mine, I hereby rest my case. Thank you.
If you know you have been awakened by this speech by Prince Daniel Abuki, please give him another round of applause. Please! That was wonderful and quite insightful. What is next on my program of event is a little entertainment put together by the Andal Science Academy CCA Club. They'll be doing a spoken word poetry on the Northern Renaissance. Please, if they're ready, let us have them, please. If they are ready, let us have them. Andal Science Academy CCA Club, please. Let's have you. There they are. As they come forward, please can we give them a round of applause, please? These are the leaders of today, not tomorrow. Please appreciate them more.
children of culture, hearts of art, with northern fire in every heart. We are the voices of the North, rising with dreams blazing forth. From the sand and the sun we come, bearing art, ideas, and wisdom. Once they said, the North is quiet. But now our pens and brushes riot. With colors bold and words that sing, we paint a brighter northern spring. We are creators, young and free, building tomorrow with what we see. Our minds are fertile, our hearts are wide. Innovation is our northern pride.
From the northwest to the northeast to the north central we go. Talent blooms everywhere we go. We dream in code and dance to play, transforming lives in our own way.
Create, innovate, illuminate. This is the North we elevate. With courage, vision, and open hands, we shape the future of our land. In every brushstroke, beat, and rhyme, we tell our story strong through time. The past gave us wisdom to hold, but the future is ours to mold. No longer shadows, we shine bright, turning darkness into light.
We rise with knowledge, skill, and art. Every creation a work of art. Together we stand bold and clear. The new northern dawn is here.
We are the Northern Renaissance. We speak, we build, we dream, we dance. Our voice is strong, our time is near. The Northern Creatives, we are here. Arewatatashi, the North has risen. We are here, and the North will shine again. Thank you.
If you know that was wonderful, please. That was wonderful. Unfortunately, due to the fact that we did not kickstart this event on 10:20 African time, we will not be able to do our first panel session until we take a little break for prayer. When we are back, we're going to have our first and second panel sessions with our amazing. Sorry, that mic, I think it's low. So we are going to have it once we are back from our little break. So Danala Aji Aisana Adawu. This is still the maiden edition of the Northern Creative Conference, proudly sponsored and powered by Spark Lab. Here today, it's all about the Northern Renaissance. We are going to transform the Northern creative landscape. My name is MC Sophie. I have been your host, and I'll be here waiting for you when you're back from the little break we're giving you. Thank you so much. DJ, let's have a little music for internet, please. Thank you. We're going on a 20 minutes break, please. Just 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Thank you so much as you cooperate with our timeline, please. MashaAllah. DJ, let's go.